Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden danger that could be lurking in the one place you're supposed to feel the safest, your own home. Think about it. We all have those daily routines, right? A hot shower to wake us up, a quick glass of water from the kitchen top. But what if I told you those simple, everyday things could be exposing you to a really serious health risk? Yeah, the source of this threat isn't something you can see or smell or taste. It's a completely silent intruder, and it's coming directly through your pipes. All right, so what exactly is this invisible threat? It's time to meet the culprit. The intruder's name is radon. Now, as you can see, it's a naturally occurring radioactive gas. But here's what makes it so sneaky. It is completely undetectable by our senses. It's colorless, odorless, and tasteless. You would have absolutely no idea it was there. And this is why it matters so much. According to the National Cancer Institute, radon isn't some minor problem. It is the #2 cause of lung cancer, right behind smoking. And to put a really fine point on it, that translates to an estimated 21,000 deaths in the U.S. every single year from radon exposure. I mean, just to give you some perspective, that is more than twice the number of deaths from drunk driving each year. That's a staggering number for something most of us have probably never even thought about. So how in the world does this gas get from deep in the ground all the way into your bathroom shower? Let's break down the science of how this infiltration actually happens. It's really a 4-step journey. First, way down in the bedrock, uranium naturally decays and forms radon gas. Second, that gas then dissolves into the groundwater. Third, if your home happens to use a private well, that water, now laced with radon, gets pumped directly into your house. And finally, this is the key part, the radon is released out of the water and into your air whenever you use it, like when you're showering, washing dishes, or even just doing a load of laundry. And a hot shower? Well, that creates the absolute perfect storm for releasing it. As this EPA quote shows, the heat and the agitation of the water can cause a whopping 50 to 70% of the dissolved radon to escape into the air you're breathing, all in that small enclosed space. Now, this is a really, really critical point to understand. As this chart makes clear, the main danger isn't actually from drinking the water. While that does carry some risk, a massive 89% of the health threat comes from inhaling the gas once it's been released into the air inside your home. So, all of this brings us to a very important question. How vulnerable are you really? Let's figure out the factors that determine your home's specific risk level. Okay, so 3 main things come into play here. First is your geography. If you live in an area with a lot of uranium-rich bedrock, think parts of the Northeast or the Appalachians, your risk is just naturally higher. Second, as we've mentioned, your water source is a huge factor. But third, and this is a really interesting one, is your home's construction. You know, modern energy-efficient homes are built to be super airtight to save on energy bills. That's great, but it also means there's less natural ventilation, which can trap gases like radon inside and let them build up to dangerous concentrations. Let's just zero in on that water source for a second, because it's a huge deal. This slide shows the crucial difference. If you have a private well, you are at a much, much higher risk. That's because your water's coming straight from the ground and it's unregulated. On the other hand, if you get your water from a municipal supply, your risk is a lot lower. Those systems often treat and aerate the water, which allows most of the radon to just escape into the atmosphere before it ever gets to your house. Okay, so we've identified the problem, we've looked at the risks. Now for the most important part, what you can actually do about it. Let's walk through your action plan. I really can't stress this enough. Because radon is invisible, the only way to know for sure if you have a problem is to test for it. You always start by testing the air. And if those levels come back high and you're on a well, then the next logical step is to test the water. Now, the good news here is that if you do find high levels, this is a completely solvable problem. There is highly effective technology out there designed specifically to strip radon right out of your water supply. You basically have 2 main options, and each has its own pros and cons. The first is a granular activated carbon filter, or a GAC filter. It's the more affordable choice, and it works well for moderate radon levels. The second option is an aeration system. Now, it's a bigger investment up front for sure, but it's also the most effective solution, removing up to 99.9% of the radon by venting it safely outdoors before the water even gets inside. And remember, safety here is an ongoing process, not a one-and-done fix. A truly comprehensive strategy means installing the right system, sure, but also improving ventilation in your bathrooms and kitchen, scheduling regular maintenance for your system, and, this is key, retesting every few years just to make sure everything is still working and you're protected. And that brings us to our final thought on this invisible intruder. You know, in the end, it all comes down to this simple question. The whole danger of radon is that it's hidden from us. The only way to protect yourself and your family is to make the invisible visible, and that all starts with a simple test. Thanks for tuning in.